Well, hello. Good morning, everybody. It is Friday. I am Linda, and this is Carl. And we are Colourwerx Designs coming to you from fabulous Palm Springs, California today, because today is... Yay! Yes, welcome in, everybody. Hello. I hope everybody is staying safe. Our East Coast friends in the path of Hurricane Ian, or you are safe if it's already passed you. We're sending you thoughts and best wishes. And we've been through our share of hurricanes and tropical storms. And you know what you do? You just keep sowing. Sowing. You just keep sowing, right? Okay, it is episode 52 of the Fab Friday program. Are you saying something, Carl? What?
I was going to say hello to Pat in North Carolina.
Hello, Pat.
Is she getting rain?
Wow. So you are getting internet signals and everything. So everything is going well, I hope, there. Yeah, we looked at the maps last night on the Weather Channel. We were like, oh my God, Pinehurst looks like it's coming, it'll come right up through Charleston into Pinehurst. Whoosh. That's not fun at all. So I just remember being in Virginia, Northern Virginia, up on the second floor, watching cows get flooded in the field across the way during one of those tropical storms that came in, and siding was blowing down the field. Barn roofs were flying by. I felt like Dorothy in Wizard of Oz or something, but I just kept sewing.
But we got missed.
We did. We got missed. Our house got missed, but you just...
Our neighbors got hit.
You just stay in your sewing room and keep sewing. That's the way I do it. This is episode 52 of the Fab Friday program. Welcome in, everybody. Please like and share this video. Make sure that you subscribe to our Colourwerx YouTube channel or our Colourwerx Facebook page so you always get alerted that these are happening. We are back. The house is a right mess right now. I mean, it's a total mess. I don't think
things behind this quilt.
I don't think we'll ever move again. I mean, I just don't know what is making this so difficult this time, other than the fact that we delayed moving all the boxes in. Maybe that was what it was, because we wanted the house painted first. And now that the painter is gone, we took all the boxes out of storage, and
it's a mess.
It's a mess. I mean, look, we have way too much sewing stuff in this house. So let's start off with some of the news, unless anybody else is checking in.
No.
Hello? Everybody doing okay? Let us know if we're streaming to you okay, and you can hear us, and everything is going well. We're a bit untethered from the internet this morning, because we didn't have that was the other thing, a long enough cable to tether ourselves in from the sewing room to where the internet, whatever box is, the modem. And so we just had to wing it this morning. So hopefully you're getting us. If not, don't worry. If it's intermittent and I go back and check it, I'll just upload the recording that we're doing here. So welcome in, everybody. Here's the news. Colourwerx Quilt Along number 9 is in process, but you can still jump in. This is the Mod Blossom Quilt Along that you see behind me. It's super fun. We started week 1 last Monday with just gathering your fabrics, getting your pattern together. I showed these blocks that I made that you can see right there in the little inset window. This is Krista Watson's really fun line called Stitchy. This is coming out probably any day now. I think it's due in October, but you can pre-order her fabric from her website at kristaquilts.com. And this is again called Stitchy. So this is the flower block, and I have the leaf block. So the Mod Blossom Quilt Along is basically this. You don't have to join or sign up anywhere. You just have to have the Mod Blossom pattern. And basically what we're going to do is week 1 was, again, gathering your fabrics, getting your pattern together. Week 2, which will launch on Monday, and what I mean by launch is there'll be a blog post and a video tutorial to go with it. So week 2 coming up, and you can check in anytime, is to pre-cut your fabrics, get things ready, get the templates ready. Week 3, we're going to make the leaf block and learn a little bit of curve piecing. Week 4, we're going to make the flower block and learn how to perfect our 1/4 inch seam piecing. And then week 5, we put it all together. And again, these quilt alongs run at your own pace. So even though I'm launching the blog post on Monday or the video tutorial on Mondays, you can check in anytime during the week and just catch up. You can make 1 block or 2 blocks or the whole quilt that you see behind me. And the fabric requirements couldn't be easier. It's all fat quarter friendly. So if you just want to dip your toes in and make 1 block and 1 leaf block, then you know what you need is about 4 to 6 fat quarters and some background fabric from your stash. If you want to make the full quilt that you see behind me, which is 12 blocks. That's like a fat quarter bundle that you might have hanging around in your stash. 18 fat quarters plus 3 yards of background fabric. It's all on the Colourwerx blog right now, the requirements for what you need to start joining in. And again, you can join into the quilt alongs anytime you would like. So even 3 months from now, you can go look at those quilt alongs and try to kind of just take it at your own pace. So those are all there for you. Let's see what we've got. Some more people checking in. Hello, Julie. Oh, good. Everything is going well. And let's see. Pat said Sandhills Quilt Guild had a great show last weekend. Oh, yay. 4 years in between shows. Oh, my God. That's right. Because I guess COVID canceled. They do it every 2 years. Oh, wow. That's great. Daria says nothing like a little crazy to put us in an organization. Yes. Yes. That's where we are. We are totally in a mess here. And Diane says, loud and clear through the hurricane. Oh, good. Well, I hope everybody stays safe today. It looks treacherous, but like I said, you just keep sewing and batten down the hatches and everything's great. Hi from Iowa. Joy, hello. Hello from Palm Springs. So while we're talking about organizing, guess what we're going to have? So October 14th, I want to let you know, we have way too much stuff here. We're going to do a de-stash sale. So if you've never been through one of our de-stash sales, this happens on the Instagram page. So it won't happen on the Facebook page. And Carl can go to that slide anytime he wants. So that's a little taste of what I'm de-stashing. We just have way too much stuff here. The de-stash sale is going to be basically bargain prices. These are used items, or these are kits that have never been opened. You can see there's a Halloween kit there and some other things. There's a pillow. So sometimes there's a huge Moda kit there. These are things that have been hanging around in my closet. They've probably moved 3 or 4 houses with us, and it's time to let them go, basically. And so the de-stash sale works like this. It's on October 14th. It is only on Instagram. So you have to sign up at our Colourwerx Instagram page. We will post a picture of whatever the item is, or several pictures of whatever the item is. And you have to, if you want that item, there'll be a price. And if you want that item, you have to be the first to comment, mine, it's sold, me, or whatever. So it's all on Instagram. So don't check in on Facebook October 14th. Check in. I'll post some more things about this. Check in on Instagram at the Colourwerx page October 14th, starting about it's probably going to be about 9:30 our time, which will be about 12:30 Eastern time. And it just pictures go up in rapid fire succession, and people just bid out each other. So it's mine. You can't overbid somebody. The first comment gets the item, basically. But that is just a little taste of what you see is going to be de-stashed at this point. So just mark that on your calendars, October 14th, de-stash sale. Any item that doesn't sell, I'm going to put it up on the website. So again, it won't go up on Facebook. It'll just be up on our website. What is that? Julie saying, love your Cheers earrings. Well, thank you for noticing. That was a segue, Julie. I was just going to segue into that, I think. Am I right? That's the news. So yeah, I've got my cocktail earrings on this morning here. I got these at Target, of all places. They were super cheap. You know, I'm the queen of cheap earrings. I don't buy anything expensive because they just get lost or broken or whatever. So these were perfect to launch the Cheers fabric. So guess what came in? Yes, the Cheers fabric is here. So this is a half-yard bundle. We've got it in both half-yard bundles. There's the beautiful picture of it that Carl just brought up. It is 20 different fabrics, batiks. These are, Carl and I designed these especially for Island Batiks. And it's a cocktail themed collection. That's why it's called Cheers. And we have both fat quarter bundles and half-yard bundles available in the shop in a limited quantity because we're going to Houston International Quilt Festival as well next month. So we're cutting madly, and that makes the house a mess too, but more on that later. But Cheers. Let's look at what's the next slide. Yes, we also have strip packs still. We have 10-inch squares in the shop. That gives the picture on the left gives you kind of an idea of the colorations. It all is a kind of a rainbow wheel assortment of all colors across the SKUs. We're going to talk about that in just a minute, the inspiration between these designs. And then we also have the Cheers pattern came in, so that's available. We will be kitting that shortly. I just have to get around to cutting all the fabrics for that kit. But we have right now in stock, if you're interested, the Color Maze fabric kit and the Paint Box fabric kit. So all of that is in stock on the website under the new to the shop Colourwerx page that you can order those up right now if you'd like. But we're going to launch right into what today's kind of topic was, which is kind of a closer look into the collection and how we came up with some of these designs and what inspired this. But first, we're going to run a little video, I think, of the Cheers collection so you can see exactly what's in it.
Roll it, Carl.
Wasn't that like kind of like, that was like swanky cocktail music, like going around to the bars or something, you know.
I'm going to roam and show
stuff.
you some live
Oh,
stuff.
you are? You're roaming.
I'm gonna roam.
Well, we don't have a cactus cam set up, so Carl's,
there we go.
We've got a roaming camera. There we go. So this is
the mess.
This is some of the contained mess, but we got hit with like 12 boxes of fabric last week, and we've been cutting madly. Look at those stacks of fabric.
Gorgeous. We've got Colourwerx there too in the back.
Ooh, wait, shh.
Oh.
That's for like Houston Festival.
Oh,
no, if we have any Colourwerx left over, it's going up on the website. But we are getting ready to vend at the Houston Festival. And there's the Cheers quilt. So
without the binding.
Without the binding, but we are photographing it today. So Teresa, our quilter, Quilting is My Bliss, did some beautiful, I mean beautiful quilting on this quilt. It's hard to have the light show it. It's not showing it quite properly as Carl.
I'm on my way back now.
As Carl roams through the house. You know, we'd love to show you the rest of the house, but I'm sorry, I just can't. It's such an embarrassment. I can't even tell you. There's boxes everywhere. You know, we're getting ready to redo the kitchen. We had the tile guy in last week to do the fireplace and some other things, and it's just a mess. So anyway, okay, so we have this. So that was that. So let's talk about the inspiration behind Cheers there. So I guess we can go to the first slide. Yes. So this was, if you're a Lindarella customer from way back when, you might recognize this quilt. But this was the original It's 5 o'clock Somewhere quilt. And this particular quilt design was designed by Carl and I during when we had our shop, Lindarella's, in Pinehurst, North Carolina, and in Southern Pines, North Carolina. And this was a block of the month that we decided to do to bring customers in on the first year. And so each month we would release on a Friday night about 5 o'clock the next cocktail block, which included the recipe for whatever the cocktail was. And we would have like a pseudo cocktail party at the shop. So people could come in and, you know, mix and mingle, grab their pattern, grab a fabric kit if they wanted to for this particular block. And we would have hors d'oeuvres, and we would serve the cocktail, but without the alcohol. So like the Bloody Mary was just tomato juice and a celery stick, or the martini was actually water and maybe an olive sitting in it. So, you know, but this was really fun. And so we, every time we show this quilt, and through the years now, it's been what, almost 15 years, 10 or 15 years, because it was in 2008. So what would that be? That would be almost 12 years. Yeah. People want the pattern, but we wanted to kind of update the pattern and make it a little bit more contemporary, a little bit more graphic, a little bit more mid-mod. So when Island Batiks asked us to do a batik line, we thought, perfect. This is a perfect segue into doing a cocktail kind of batik line, because we hadn't seen anybody do that out there yet, and taking this particular quilt and contemporizing it. So basically what it does, if you want to go to the next slide, is you start with inspiration. So this is just some of the clip art inspiration that Carl pulled from the internet. These were just, you know, hey, I like the way those palm trees look. I like the way those drinks look inside those kind of circles. Maybe we could use that somewhere. And if you look at your batiks, these are really simplified designs, meaning when you do batiks, they're stamps. So the stamps have to be made out of copper wire and nails and brads, and then they put the ink, or the waxed ink, for lack of a better word, on the stamp, and they stamp it across the fabric. They wax stamp it across the fabric. So everything has to be done in kind of black and white or negatives to each other so that they know what the stamp looks like. So Carl took this inspiration. And this is what the first couple, what they call chops. If you hear the word chops, that refers to the batik stamps. And we had to come up with 6 chops to present this to Island Batiks. These were the very first preliminary chops, and you can see he had that kind of mid-mod, kind of
very graphic.
Very graphic, atomic, and they were almost too complicated. I think
yeah.
Island Batiks kind of fell off the side of their chair because they were kind of like, this is really complicated, and they weren't ready for that. We didn't think they were that complicated, but I guess they thought. But anyway, yeah. So we went back to the drawing board, and I think you and I discussed, Carl, we didn't really like the fact that each chop, each design was one drink. We thought that might be a little, somebody may not want like all of their batik to be martinis or something. So Carl then played around with that coaster design that you see on the left, and that ended up being one of the designs in the collection.
I did elements to it.
And you added elements to it. And I looked at that when I came downstairs. This was back when we lived in the other condo, and we were designing this 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, those are great blocks for a quilt too. If we want to contemporize the cocktail quilt, these would be great blocks because somebody could do one block or they could do the whole quilt like this. We could do a whole quilt. And then we mixed up the drinks, as you can see on the right-hand side. So those were some chops that we put in. Stamps, a little bit too graphic. And so we narrowed everything down, and we ended up with 6 different designs. And this is what you see on the screen. This is what we presented to Island Batiks. Now, we're not even talking about colors at this point. So that's why everything is in black and white. This is just the initial, what will the stamp look like when it gets stamped onto the batik?
Well, the stamp, which is again the chop, is you have to understand is it's handcrafted. Usually, you've got these guys in Indonesia making these chops out of copper wire. So we can't go too far in graphic detail because somebody has to make these by hand before it actually gets stamped.
Right.
So it's not.
So we ended up with 6 designs. You'll see the coasters right there, the cocktails, which are all the mix-up of all the different drinks, the slices, which is super popular. And we love the slices. And then down below that is the swizzle sticks, of course. Some people go, oh, it's just umbrellas. No, it's swizzle sticks. It's umbrellas and sticks that you find in your drinks or your cocktails. Then we have in the upper right-hand corner the clock. And that was, signaling 5 o'clock somewhere. And when you look at our batik line, you're going to notice that didn't appear, that didn't make the cut, the 5 o'clock clock. We love the clock, but for some reason when we got the strike-offs back and the colorizations back, the batik looked muddy. The stamp looked muddy. It didn't register as a clock. In fact, it was like, what is that big block circle?
They couldn't design it that small.
So the cubes came in, and so when we ended up finalizing all the design, it ended up with 5 different designs, which the clocks were X'd out. And then what we had to do was pick colorizations. And so we thought this was interesting to show you. So in the batik world, because you don't want to really reinvent the wheel or the color guys. And since you can't be in the plant with the guy or on the beach with the guy in Indonesia stamping, some of the best, most true to form colorizations you can do are previous colorizations. So these are some of the pages we submitted into the guys into Indonesia through Island Batiks, which was, okay, this is like that first one on the left. This is the cocktail design that we like. The stamp, and we would like you to do it in this orange batik that you had done before. So they know what that formula is, and they just simply recreate that formula because we like that colorization. You can also ask for that color formalization to be done in reverse. So where you see the lighter bubbles in the orange, they could do the lighter part in the background and the darker part becomes the bubbles. So, and then the middle one is kind of mixing different batiks, and those are the chops that we were asking for them to mix those colorizations on. And then the last one,
naming what we want in the background,
right?
What's front and what's back,
right? And the last one is like showing you how we can, that you could even mix and match paint swatches if you wanted, or solid colors into existing batik colorizations that they had done prior to make a new color up. So we submitted almost, I think, probably 150 colorizations into Indonesia. That's what Island Batik asked us to do. They said, just keep submitting as many as you want. We had black and whites, which were really cool, but we had to narrow down to 20, if you can believe it.
The shot on the screen now, the one on the left is when we first start picking colors. So you see the stripe. our little black and white prints that we did to scale, printed them out, and we went to the scrap bag that we had of our batiks and also paint chips, and we start looking where we might want colors to go and what themes and whatever. So that's the first step. Once we've got through that process and then submitted the paperwork with the colorations, we get what's on the right comes back from the factory. And as you see in the top left-hand corner of that one is a white, gray and white version, which it was nice, but
Oh,
it
I
wasn't
love that
colorful,
one.
but it just didn't. We didn't have enough room for
Well,
it.
no, it was we had them do white on whites, like tone on tones and black and whites. And if we could have put those in, we would have. But we had to narrow this down. We were limited to 20 different fabrics, meaning we had 5 different designs to play with: the citrus slices, the cocktails, the coasters, and we had to narrow down to 20 different colors in the collection.
They actually sent us 140 strike-offs.
Right.
They're called strike-offs. They actually did 140 colorations by the time they reversed colors and we added colors and stuff like that. And to get 140 down to 20, it was really, really tough.
Well, it was. I mean, the initial first, you throw out the ones that look muddy first, and then you just start concentrating on color.
And then themes.
So we ended up with those 20 that you see in the collection right there. So there's lots of ice cubes. There's lots of slices. Those got in because they were just really, really beautiful. The slices really worked well. And then we ended up with a couple coaster prints and a couple cocktail prints and a couple swizzle stick prints, which are the umbrellas that you see there. That's the most prevalent design. And I think, yes, there you can see it in its glory. We really wanted it to be, of course, a rainbow kind of color wheel order, because it was important to us to have that full range of colors to play with when the collection came out. So that is kind of the inspirations behind Cheers and how, the Batik selection is going on. Again, everything you see was in black and white because of the line art, and that's because of how the stamps or chops are made out of copper wire and nail brads and things like that. And the chops are anywhere from 4x4 to 8.5x11 stamps that go across the fabric.
And then we have to put them in a repeat pattern so it looks seamless.
Right.
We hope. Yes.
So that's available for you now up on the website. We'll take any questions if anybody has any questions or comments about that. But it was a very interesting process. We like batiks. We like designing batiks. I like designing prints, I think, a little bit better.
Yeah, we like print better.
Meaning like this is like crystallization, but prints where it's printed on the fabric, the digital printed, like Colourwerx was. Yeah. But it was interesting. It was good. It was a good opportunity.
It's a good
and we would do it again. But Cheers is here available for you to use. It's a beautiful collection there of a color wheel assortment.
I'm just going to check back in with people.
Yes. Well, Nedra's here. Hi, Nedra. How are you? Nedra's checking in from Arizona.
Barbara from Granada Hills.
Hi, Barbara. Nice to see you here, too. And April's checking in. Oh, April says beautiful. Thank you, April. We think it came out really well, too.
And she didn't realize they were batiks.
They are batiks. So this is batiks. And they, you know what? If you have Colourwerx in your collection, the previous collection, this matches really well with Colourwerx. And of course it goes with any other rainbow color assortment and stuff.
And because of Colourwerx, we have saturated batiks. That's why people don't think they're batiks.
Yes.
Because we insisted on the saturation of color.
We did.
Most batiks are gray when you pick
well,
them up.
Most batiks have a brown overcast, which I learned from Freddie Moran years ago, because I walked into her class. Everybody knows Freddie. I walked into Freddie's class with some batiks to take her class, and she made me throw them out because she said, ooh, batiks, they have a brown, dull overcast because of the way that it's stamped with the wax. And she says, that is not pure color. You're not allowed to use that. So,
but ours are.
Ours are, yeah. Well, the batik process has come quite a way. Julie says, "What an amazing process it was! It is an amazing process, and it's quite nerve-wracking, in the sense that the printing fabric, when you do printed fabric, that's about a year out now. When you do batik fabric, it's a 3-year process. Yes. So we've been kind of like coddling this baby for 3 years now, in and out. The design process, the submission to Island Batiks, the approval process, the colorizations, and then it all goes out of your house for a while, and you don't really see anything for another 8 months, because of course it's all being done in Indonesia, and then it comes back, and then you have to look at it, and then you have to choose your 20, and then you go back, and then you don't see anything, and then you hope everything kind of
Right.
comes
And
out the way you wanted it to come
well,
out.
in that process, going to Indonesia, just if people don't know, these are made on the beaches. They're not in a factory.
Right.
They're stamped on beaches, and if there's a bad weather season, they can't do any stamping of batiks on the beach because
I'll just
guess
hold
what?
these here.
There's rain, there's floods, there's everything. So you have to hope you've got a good season for batiking, because if not, you've got to wait a whole year for the next season. I mean, it literally is. These are done by hand from the very beginning to the very end, which is why they're a gorgeous fabric.
They are a gorgeous fabric, but you can see the saturation in that one, so it's really good. Yeah, and April says, I didn't realize some of the process that goes into batiks. It is quite a long process. And then, you kind of have to trust the guys in Indonesia to make the stamp that matches what you think it should look like.
The design,
yeah. So, a lot of one of the things that I think I learned during the process is the detail sometimes is not there. And we're kind of detail-oriented people. We put in little details, in the design. And sometimes that just simply can't translate into the chop or the stamp. It gets lost. They just can't, twist the wire that close or whatever to make a spiral. But anyway, that is the inside scoop on Cheers. It's there. We're gonna wish everybody a very happy weekend now, unless anybody has any news for us. Again, go check out the Colourwerx shop for all the new products that are in there. More are coming. We'll keep you up to date as well on the Design House here. It's I posted a picture yesterday of my meager little cave faucet collective stash. It's taking up 3 shelves behind this quilt here in a new bookcase. It needs to be totally organized, but it was kind of calling to me yesterday, like, come play, come cut some cave, come make a quilt. I mean, I haven't seen it for months, and I was like, oh yeah, look at that one. And some of the cave faucet fabrics that I have in that stash, because of working with him since, with Free Spirit and getting some of those fabrics. Some of those are way back 2008, 2007 cave faucet. They don't even make them anymore. Some of them are 2012 that have been out of print, and they're just gorgeous. And you kind of treasure all that. But I've got to organize.
You have lots of treasure.
I know I've got to organize this stuff. So just a recap now. If you want to join the Mod Blossom Quilt Along and stitch with me, remember, you don't have to do anything. You just have to check into the blog on Monday. There it is, that we're going to be starting to make these blocks. So Monday's this week 2 is all about cutting your fabric and getting your templates together. Again, it's fat quarter friendly, so you just need the pattern. The D-Stash coming up October 14th on the Colourwerx Instagram page. So there's going to be lots of little goodies there. And
quick question from April.
Yes, April says, will you be releasing a fabric kit to go with your newest pattern? You mean the cocktail block, April? If you are, you mean yes. Cheers. Yes, we will. We will be releasing a fabric kit. It's on the schedule to be cut this week. I'm doing fingers crossed this week, hopefully.
But let me just clarify that. The shapes will not be cut. You get the fabric.
You get the fabric.
You cut your own shapes, but we will put a kit together with all them fabrics and the qualities.
No, it's not a bad day. It's just that I'm right-handed, so I can either go from this to this.
That's the happy day.
There we go. Happy day. But it's.
Yes, April says.
Okay, yeah. So it's going to be a full-on fabric kit for the Cheers cocktail block, which will include the binding, the borders, everything. But you then, do your own shapes on your fusible web and cut them out.
Yes.
So, yes. Okay, anybody else? Other than we're going to get out of here and let everybody get back to stitching and sewing. Be safe this weekend, you guys. If you're
I'm going off this afternoon to see
we're going off to see the Van Gogh experience. So we'll let you know what that's like. It's coming into town over in Indio today. And so we have tickets for this afternoon. We're going to do a date night, as everybody says. And we're going to go have the Van Gogh experience together. So it's not just
looking at Van Gogh pictures. They actually project his pictures,
I guess so,
and a big gallery.
Well, I think the East Coast got it first. Yes, that is absolutely amazing. Is that, you mean the Van Gogh experience, Julie? I guess that's what she means. Yes, it is. I've seen pictures of it, and you walk through it. It's like the sunflowers are all projected and things like that. So it should be interesting. We have
It's an
that.
experience.
Yes, we do. And you know, Sir Tom Jones is also coming into town the 1st of October. I don't know if anybody remembers Tom Jones. You know, What's Up, Pussycat? He's Sir Tom is how old is Sir Tom? 80?
He's in his 80s.
He's in his 80s, and he's going to be traveling through the area. We have tickets. We've been hoping. We had tickets during COVID, and he had to cancel. So he's 2 years older now.
But we've seen him for 30 years.
Yeah, we saw him about what, 25 years ago
in Washington D.C.
Well, no, in Washington. That's right. We saw him a couple years ago, whatever, 10 years ago in Washington.
25?
And we saw him almost 25 years ago in Whittier. And I have to tell you, the women still throw underwear on stage. So even at his age, it's just something to watch. It's very funny. It's a wild concert with him usually, because he does not only all his great hits like Thunderball and you know, What's Up Pussycat and all those other great hits from Tom Jones, but he also does a lot of contemporary songs. So he does a great rendition of Prince's Kiss.
And he still gyrates.
And he still gyrates around, and then all the underwear gets thrown on stage. So we're going to go see him on October 8th, I think it is. So that is kind of our month. We are busy, so we'll be back in, I hate to say this, God, I can't even believe I'm going to say this. We're going to be back in November, okay? And the reason being is we're going to the International Quilt Festival in Houston. I'm teaching 2 workshops, so if you're going to be there, please come check out the workshops. I'm teaching both my paint box workshop and my applique stitch lab workshop, and I'm really excited to be teaching in Houston. And we're going to be vending, so that's why we're in a mess too here, and why we can't have a Fab Friday next month, because we're actually getting ready to go to Houston, and we'll be on our way to Houston. We're going to take the Mini Coupe again and drive over across the deserts through Texas into Houston again.
New Mexico,
and
Arizona.
Yes,
Yeah.
into Houston. So we will be there at the end of October to go to market one day, and then end up quilting into the International Festival throughout the first week of November, and then back at the house to
rip
apart the kitchen starting in the middle of November.
Just because we have nothing else to do.
And that's when our next Fab Friday will be. That's right. We have nothing else to do.
So we just rip out the kitchen.
So,
yeah. Okay.
All right, you guys. So be safe out there. Keep on stitching through Hurricane Ian if you're in that path. Be safe. And I'm sending you positive thoughts that everybody, it all works out. Nobody has any downed trees or anything. With that, thank you guys so much for checking in today. We really appreciate it. And we love you guys for checking in and hanging with us through delays and misorganization and all that other stuff. Happy weekend and happy Colourwerx quilting, everyone. Mwah!